Shalom, shalom, shalom. This is Kapari, aka Pops, LGMS Chicago, with another sit down. Before I get started, though, like always, I want to send all praise, honor, and glory out to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Akakodash, to the apostles and the elders of GMS out of New York. I want to send double honors because they do rule well. To the brethren around the world, pushing this truth uncut, unfiltered, giving you the good, the bad, and ugly, the scriptures, the clan, the the correct and right interaction of the scriptures on the public and the interaction of the public and the planet. I send salutations to the hopeful elect, the hope that is edifying, to the aqua that's listening sincerely in charity. Keep doing so for the school and scoff for reprobate two-third Israelites, 17 other nations. It's closer to what you think. Anyway, what this is uh, as you can see, the title, The Collapse of the American Empire. Okay, well, it should be Collapse of the American Babylonian Empire, Babylonian, Roman, Egyptian Empire, because all this is rolled up in one. And so I've got a few scriptures that I'm going to put with a statement that this Edomite, which actually is a reverend in the process of, don't mean that he's right or righteous, but that, you know, recognized in Esau's educational program as being a reverend is actually saying, and I got it kind of marked up here like the 2049 mark, because it's not like a whole bunch of scriptures I want to go through, and it's not like a whole bunch of points that I want to make this a real long thing. I mean, you know, see, because the two-third Israelites want to hold on to this nation and this government and this mindset and this whole ideology that this Edomite has had in place for the past 600 years or so, but is on its way out, okay? Because the ushering in of the kingdom per, the tabernacle of David being built is happening right before their eyes. And this Edomite is actually going to say that. That's because one people got to go down, when the other people got to come up, and the rightful rulers and owners of everything is on their way up now. So let me let him go on and say what he's going to say, and then I'm put some scriptures to it, okay?
Fully self-destructive. Uh, I mean, suicide, for instance, the highest rate of suicide in the United States are middle-aged white men who realize that there's no place for them anymore. And I quote Pope John Paul in his encyclical on work. Work is not just about the exchange of labor for wages. It is about status, dignity, self-respect, the ability to find a meaningful place in society. Uh, and we're not doing it. And the longer we don't do it, the worse it's going to get.
Here's another quote from the book. Politics is a game of fear. Those who do not have the ability to frighten power elites do not succeed. The platitudes about justice, equality, and democracy are just that. Only
Repeat this. They're going to say politics is a game of fear. Those who do not have the ability to frighten power elites do not succeed. But our speech, our mannerisms, the work that we're doing on here on YouTube and standing out there on the corners week in and week out, declaring the downfall of America, frighten the elites. It frightens it because because they done spent a ton, billions upon billions of dollars doing research, digging up shit. Like when you used to see all these little, as I want to say, educational programs where they say it was funded by, and it'd be some excavation or whatever the case might be, where they went over to this land and dug this up and this, that, and the other, and it was funded by, and then it named the different corporations. Those corporations were the elites, and they were looking for this shit to see if it matched up with scriptures. And now they found out all these scriptures do match up. Now they're afraid because now one of the things that the scripture said that the Israelites was going to link back up. That was northern and southern kingdom, and they see that happening. And now that the truth has been pushed to the four corners of the earth, they see everything falling apart. and they can't stop it. So now we're getting deemed terrorists and these types of things, which are only going to get worse among these brothers. So, as it says when Malcolm, Elder Malcolm is saying, uh, uh, pushing this truth to the four corners of the earth, uh, you know, um, jeopardizing your lives and your freedom. That's real. That's real on everything. So you can see this, the platitudes about justice, equality, and democracy are just that. Only when ruling elites become worried about survival do they react, appealing to the better nature of power,
Only when ruling elites become
powerful
worried about
is useless.
survival
They
do
don't
they
have one.
react. Appealing to the better nature of the powerful is useless. They don't have one.
And that's scripture. That's scripture. So now I'm about to put these scriptures on this. Because like I said, I don't need this to go far at all. I'll put these scriptures on this and go from there. They don't have none. So let's read the scriptures that what he just said is absolute. And it matches up with the scriptures. So that's why I don't fight against it. I don't say nothing against it. I'm gonna show you what the scriptures say. Okay. Let's go to Psalms first. 122, 3 through 5. Psalms 122, 3 through 5. Jerusalem is built as a city that is compact together. Whether the tribes go up, the tribes of Yahweh, into the testimony of Israel to give thanks unto the name of Yahweh. And that's what his prophets are doing now. Bringing out his word, breaking it down, telling it, these types of things. Giving thanks for the knowledge that they have. And going and doing what they told to do with that knowledge. Spread it. For there are set up thrones of judgment, the thrones of the house of David. See, people want to tell us that we can't judge. But we are. We are the judges, you know, according to the scriptures. Why? Because we're not out there judging upon our own behalf. We're judging you according to what the scripture says. So it said, he shall judge, but not be judged by no man. Why? Because I'm not judging you according to the scriptures. And I said that to someone. I said, I don't look at people you know, from my perspective. It's my perspective now, but at first it wasn't. I had to learn it and whatnot. But as I learned it and I started looking at it and I was able to see it, I was able to see where people work clean contrary or walk clean contrary to the scriptures. Okay. 5. For thou set thrones of judgment, thrones of the house of David. Pray for peace of Jerusalem. They shall prosper that love thee. Okay. Uh, actually, I was just gonna stop at 5. For there are set thrones of judgment, the thrones of the house of David. So the men that were set to come back and stand in their lot in their line at the end of days are doing that now. Okay, some are helpers, which can be among the elect. Some are prophets, which is what a lot of the men of GMS actually are, because they're the ones that are standing out there on the street corners declaring it. Okay, just the bottom line on it. Okay, you know, and pushing 100% doctrine. That's the main part of it, because you got a lot of camps that stand out there. You got ISUBK. They come out when the weather is okay. They're not out there all the time. IUIC, I've seen them here in Chicago when the weather is okay. Every time I've seen either one of these camps, the weather is decent. It's decent. When I saw IUIC, it was about 70 degrees or so. People was out there. They was walking around. They kind of short sleeve shirts, and it wasn't a weather whether you had to be bundled up or anything like that. It was right there on 79th and Cottage. I took a picture of it, sent it to the brothers. Kind of got a good giggle and a laugh out of it. This, that, and other, because we only see them in the weather in the good weather time. Okay, so they not really offering a living sacrifice. But the thrones of David are being set up. And you even have these camps that don't teach the 100% truth doing what they're supposed to do. Why? Because they do inform you that you are Israel. They do inform the Israelites that they are Israel. So you're not going to be able to say you didn't know you was an Israelite, and that's their job to gather the 2/3, let them know that they was Israel. Don't give them the complete knowledge that they need, so they can still be destroyed, knowing that they was Israelite, and that's why the punishment came to them. Okay, let me go to the next one. Zechariah 12, 7 and 8. Yahweh also shall save the tents of Judah first, that the glory of the house of David and the glory of the inhabitants of Jerusalem do not magnify themselves against Judah. Okay? Again, the government being set or being reset, that's going to be that of the Israelites being brought up, put in place, the whole deal. That's what that's all about. Okay? And now it's, even these Edomites are declaring it and saying, you heard what he said? The biggest suicide rate in America is among middle class white. That's it. There it is. Okay. Let's do the read. Uh, in that day shall Yahweh defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and he that is feeble among them at that day shall be as David. David was a mighty man, and the house of David shall be as God, as the angel of Yahweh before them. So this man's military might and all this other kind of stuff is gonna have no chance against 144,000. So this is the collapse of the American empire. Because these men that stand boldly on these corners and declare this word and put these videos out and put themselves in jeopardy in the process of are doing just that. Okay? And that's the collapse of the American empire. Okay? There it is. Let's go one last one. I'm gonna let that play. I'm gonna go back and let that play again so you hear it one more time. I'm gonna go to Sirach this time around. I'm gonna go to Sirach. Sirach 14, 6 or 7. Sirach 14, 6. There is none worse than he that envieth himself. This man believed his own hype. This Edomite, Esau, Edom, he believed his own hype. And now that he did not want to believe or understand, because he see it in the athletics, he see it in the invention part of the world. What would the world be if there was no Israelite Israelites that had came up with all the things they did, such as the lights, I mean, the toilet, open heart surgery, the things that make the real McCoy, because of the designs of it, this, that, all these things. The only thing that this Edomite invented was the patent office where he stole patents and to this day is getting rich off of things that Israelites invented. Because the Israelites going to figure out a way to make something easier for himself. So he going to take it, steal it, turn it into a device or whatever, and then sell it and get filthy rich for decades. And I shouldn't say decades. I should say hundreds and hundreds of years on top of itself. Okay, there's none worse than he that envieth himself, and this is a recompense of his wickedness. And if he doeth good, he doeth unwillingly, and at the last he will declare his wickedness. Look what he's saying. Look what the man's saying. The, the envious man hath a wicked eye. He turned away his face and despiseth men. Okay? A covetous man eye is not satisfied with his portion, and the iniquity of the wicked dries up his soul. So, even though he had the fatness of the land, he still kept looking for more. And now he's become does that desire for always needing more has led him to be the destruction of and death of the planet as it is. If the Lord didn't come back, he would actually destroy this planet. Look at what he did. in 600 years, which is only a half a day to the Lord. A day is as 1,000 years. 1,000 years is as a day to the Lord. So in about a half a day, look at what He's done to the planet. That's His destruction. That's why He's going to do. That's why He's got to be put out of power. So let's go back and let this read through one more time.
I guess I need to ask you whether you are actually advocating the violent overthrow of the United States government.
No, I'm strongly opposed to violence as a
Okay, let's
mechanism.
take the violent out of that sentence. Are you advocating the overthrow?
You see, I had to listen to it all the way to that. But that is the what's going to happen, and that's going to be per Yahweh by Shem Shai, not us. We're not going to lift the finger. Not on no behalf. Not like that. Not in because we don't have the military might to go against this name, but the army of Yahweh by Shem Shai will. So with that, I hope that is edifying. I hope that's uplifting. So I want to say it again, all praises, honor, and glory out to Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai, by Shem Kafadas, the apostles and elders, Jim that's out of New York again. Double honors because they do real well. Brethren around the world push this truth uncut, unfiltered, giving the good, the bad, the ugly, the scriptures, properly dividing the prophecies and the interaction with the people on the planet. Salutations. Hopefully, like again, I hope that's edifying and uplifting. Aquaf is listening to Sincerity and Charity. Keep doing so. For the Squantus Gospel Reprobate 2/3 Israelites and 17 other nations that are hooked to this motherfucker, I send Shalom to the Israelites, the elected Israelites, and I send a Barbara Ball to the rest of the planet. Shalom.